Namaste, good evening and welcome to the 15th edition of the Amazing Ability webinar series. I am Mamata J, serving as a Livelihood and Inclusiveness Coordinator in Swami Vivekananda Youth Movement. As we come to the end of the monumental month of March, in which we have celebrated the International Day of Women, we would like to salute the bravery of every woman in the society. May all continue to contribute despite many setbacks, personally and professionally. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to today's episode, where we celebrate one more unstoppable achiever, Ms. Swarnalatha. SVYM is a development organization engaged in building a new civil society in India and serving over 3 million people in Karnataka through 40 plus projects, 7 institutions, 100 plus partners across the domains of health, education, economic empowerment program, and training and research. This webinar is jointly hosted by SUIM's CCST program and Vivekananda Institute for Leadership Development, VLEAD. SUIM's Comprehensive Care Support and Treatment for Persons with Disability program, initiated in 2018, stands all 21 types of disabilities and engages with over 40,000 specially abled individuals in Mysore and Kodagu district. VLEAD's mission is to develop human and social capital for nation building by enhancing the potential of individuals and institutions across the development sectors. VLEAD engages across 4 sectors: government, NGOs, corporates, and communities youths. Specially abled people face several issues including accessibility, inclusion, and the inability to lead a barrier-free life. One of the ways in which a light can be thrown on these issues is by celebrating the amazing achievements of a sunset of fantastic individuals from this group who have broken through the barriers and inspired not just people from their own group, but also all of us. This webinar is an attempt to bring some of these celebrities onto a platform where they can share their journey, their grit, determination, and the fire that burns within them that has made them into a role model for all of us. I will now hand it over to Mr. Ramesh Venkataraman, Director of VLEAD, to introduce our exceptional achiever, Ms. Swarnalatha. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Mamta. And it's a pleasure to have. There's an echo. It's a pleasure to have Swarnalatha today.
The camera
Conversation. And as a very brief introduction, I'm not going to be spending too much time introducing because we're going to get to know her better during the conversation. Swarnalatha is founder and managing trustee of the Swaarga Foundation. She's someone who's been affected with the primary progressive multiple sclerosis since 2009. She holds a diploma in computer science and is a postgraduate in Hindi literature. She's multi-talented and has won many awards for her work as a disability rights activist, notably the Bharat, Prerna and Thanga Tharagai awards in 2018. She's also first runner-up at the Mrs. India Beauty Pageant held at Goa, Beauty Pageant South held at Goa in May 2018. Swarnalatha is a Tedx speaker, motivational speaker, singer, writer, and photographer. She's also a counsellor who works on fundraising, awareness campaigns, and public relations. Swarnalatha, an absolute pleasure to have you today as guest in what is a series that we've been running on called Amazing Achievers. And, welcome to this program. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, Mr. Ramesh, thank you so much for the introduction, and it's a great opportunity to be speaking on this platform. I consider it my privilege, and I must first of all appreciate all the work that you are all doing through Swami Vivekananda Youth Movement. Our support will always be there in whatever way we can. Thanks again.
Thank you. I'll start with the question that was uppermost when I was looking at some of the videos and doing a brief background on this. When you first came to grips with what was happening to you, the medical condition, multiple sclerosis. And I understand it also all happened very suddenly. So it is one thing to, find acceptance, and a completely different thing to find the inner strength to lead life again. Because it's something where you have to actually find life again in that sense, as you see. So how and where did you find that strength? And you could also use this question as the backgrounder with regard to what happened to you and how you found life again.
What happened to?
What happened to you and how you found your life again in terms of starting afresh?
Okay. See, it was all of a sudden in October 2009, a day before my 6th wedding anniversary, that I was neck down paralyzed, and I was 100% okay in the morning, and by evening, I was completely disabled. So it was very hard hitting. My life was completely shattered. My son was around 2 years old that time. So when I got admitted to hospital, doctors were even scared to read out the report to me. So we had to sneak in the report to know what it is, or it read multiple sclerosis. I didn't even know the spelling. I didn't know how to, pronounce it. So it was that alien to me. I'd never heard of a disease like that. And it's a European disease, occurs to mostly women. The ratio is 3:1, the female to male ratio. And it happens at the prime of your life, when you are at an age when you have so many dreams. You want to get married, you want to have children, you want to make a career. So this is when it actually hits you, and your life is completely devastated, dreams are shattered. Same thing happened to me. I was also working with a multinational German car company as head of customer care, and also executive assistant to the CEO. And after this happened, I was put on steroids for 1.5 months. I kind of regained 60% of the mobility that I had lost, and 40% I could not get back. So whatever 60% was left, so I've been losing gradually day by day. But first time, definitely it was a big blow. Too many questions. Like I've been very financially independent from the age of 14 years. So I used to take tuitions, do small chores, and make my money. And at 18, I had my full-time job. So now, even to go to toilet, to eat food, if I need somebody's help, it's not a nice situation. Acceptance is very, very difficult, as you mentioned. I also went through the phase of denial in the beginning, and there was no point committing suicide because, I had tried it once and it didn't work out, and I ended up in the hospital. Uh, so doing it for the second time didn't make sense. What if I don't die this time? I would end up in a much worse situation. So that fear, and I had support from my husband, and I had one more reason to leave my son. So I decided to give life another chance, and here I am in front of you today. Yeah, so I think everything happens. Whatever happens in the life is for good. Whatever doesn't happen is for the best. So I go with that policy, and yeah, it's working well. It's not the same day every day. Every day is deteriorating, and it's difficult to find motivation to get up. But knowing that somebody is seeking help through Swaarga Foundation, um, and knowing that my family needs me, children need me. So that is one thing which keeps me going, I think. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. In fact, you did more than answer it, in the sense that you also spoke about. I like the fact that you're so candid about your attempted suicide and all of those things. I think those are things that are, and typically people would say, I decided that I had to find the strength. I found the strength and I came up. But the reality is that everyone goes through an absolute, that there is a period when you feel completely depressed, and then somehow you find the strength to come out of it. A part of that question is also, is there a specific something that keeps you motivated, or is it just you that finds the spirit and purpose on a daily basis to keep yourself going?
Would you mind repeating the question, please?
Yeah, no, what I asked is that, is there a specific person, or is there someone that you look up to in terms of, in order to keep yourself going motivated, or is it just the inner strength that you've developed over the course of the last 11 years that you find?
I think I also gain my strength from meditation. It kind of leads the way and allows me to go with the flow instead of anticipating what is going to happen. It allows me to balance my emotions to a certain extent. I'm not an angel or God. I too become angry, irritated, frustrated, everything on a daily basis. But somewhere it helps me calm down, and it also helps me achieve my dreams. Helps the universe bring things to me that otherwise wouldn't have been possible. So I think universe at large is playing a bigger game that is kind of motivating me, other than my family, my friends, and my personal calling.
I was just watching some of the videos. There was a particularly something that you said that's struck me, and I thought I should more than ask you, to talk to you about it. You say you're not special, but you're a limited edition. That's a wonderful phrase. That you're a limited edition kind of a thing. I like that description of yourself. It's a very nice way to describe yourself, in the sense that it's a pun where you say you're also saying that limited, but you're saying when you add the addition to it, when you add addition to limited edition, it becomes special also. But you're not also saying that you're special. So that's a beautiful way of phrasing this whole thing, and so it's a very, very positive spin on what is limited.
Actually, I wanted to bring this point here. See, people call people with disabilities with different names. Uh, I mean, I don't really mind if you call spade a spade. There's nothing wrong. You're disabled, fine. You're a person with disability, fine. So you give us different names like physically challenged, physically handicapped. Then you call us Divyang. Then you call us special. So I'm here to tell the whole world that not just me, every person who's like me is not just special. We are limited edition. It just doesn't apply to me. It applies to everybody, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the things that I also learned, over the course of multiple conversations that I've had with, particularly in this series, where every single person whom I've spoken to has actually said this, that it doesn't really matter, and all of these issues about how to call these people, or the problem with using words like disabled is in the minds of the so-called abled people, rather than these words really do not matter, kind of thing. I also wanted to ask you about the other area that I wanted to talk to you about is, we often use the term multifaceted, but when I see you, I've seen the videos, I understand the meaning of the word. And even in the introduction, we briefly touched about it. You're a singer, you're a photographer, motivational speaker, you're a multilinguist. Is it 10, 12? I don't know how many languages you're comfortable with. And then speaker, entrepreneur. So looking back, do you sometimes wonder if your life had not taken this particular turn, and if it continued to be a corporate profession, you perhaps would not have been able to do all of these things?
Exactly. I do speak about this. If I were still in the corporate life, I would have asked for more money, a better designation. But now I think I have found the purpose of my life. I have found my calling. So, which rarely people do get an opportunity, right? Not everybody gets this opportunity. They born, they live, they die, but they don't know why they're living for. They don't know who they are living for. But in my case, I found it very early, so I'm happy about it. So there's no regrets.
And So when we spoke offline, just before we got on this conversation and we spoke offline, you mentioned that the primary reason you actually agreed to come on this platform, speak with us, was because of your own, the Swami Vivekananda common connection that we have. We have the Swami Vivekananda youth movement, and you said he's somebody who has inspired you, somebody that you look up to. Could you tell us how he inspires you, and if there are any specific anecdotes where his thoughts or his ideas helped you get over this particular situation? So.
I'm so overwhelmed with his ideas that I don't have words to explain the greatness of such a person. I don't think I have the ability to even talk about a person like Swami Vivekananda. So I don't want to really answer this question. So they say I'm Nimitta Matra. So that is who I am.
Instrumental.
I don't have the ability to
Instrument
talk
alone.
about. Yes.
And it's the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita also, where Arjuna said, Krishna says that Arjuna is Nimitta Matra. Okay, so shall I rephrase it? I know that you said you don't want to answer it. Shall I say, so what does it mean to you? Is that an easier question to answer?
He's my role model.
Right.
At such an young age, he achieved so much. I wish he were there for a little more longer time. So world would have been definitely a different and better place. What I feel. And his idea about non-discrimination, I really love it. And the kind of sharp memory that he had, oh my God. And I think that comes with a state of meditation. He was always aware of what he's doing. So I think, yeah, I think I should be able to at least imbibe 0.00001% of what he is. Then my existence is justified, I think.
Okay. So I do realize that it's not a question that you're. I'll just make a segue into some of the things that you're presently doing in terms of the Swaarga Foundation itself. Before I actually get into the Swaarga Foundation, I wanted to ask you, today inclusion, accessibility, equity, and all of these are buzzwords that everyone is using. Everybody wants to talk about it. Everybody wants to get involved in it. But the reality, as far as I am aware at least, is that things are far from desirable. You've been working on these aspects as part of the Swaarga Foundation. So tell us about these initiatives, and also what are the challenges that most of us fail to appreciate in these things. I particularly like that Sarathi initiative. It's not something that I've seen in Mysore or Bangalore and many of these places also. So, share some of them.
I'll get to the first question. You asked me about all these terms called equity and inclusion. I think most of it is in words only because, for example, one of the persons that I know was working for a multinational company. He met with an accident and he lost his vision. And then he was asked to resign from his job because they felt that he doesn't fit into the organization anymore. But after a few years, the same person was hired from the same company as part of their D&I, initiative by giving him training. What purpose does it serve? If you talk about inclusion, what inclusion I will talk about?
He was sacked from his present role, and then
and then you retake, and then you then as a company you show in numbers that look, I have provided livelihood to so many persons with disabilities, and you take credit, you take awards. I don't think it works this way, isn't it?
No, it doesn't. No, absolutely. That's why I started by saying, that most of these are really buzzwords, and we are far from the reality of
In fact, I was also forced to resign from my organization, the German car company, because they thought I'm disabled and I won't fit into the organization. Now I'm running an organization on my own, right? So And I have employed people with disabilities also in the organization. So that goes, sometimes you just don't have to talk, your actions say a lot. So that is what I always believe in. And coming to the second phase of the question, Sarathi. Sarathi is Tamil Nadu's first taxi service for senior citizens and persons with disabilities, which comes with a ramp, sofa cum bed, toilet, hot water, wash basin, television, and other services so that persons like us can travel with dignity and comfort. When I'm born and brought up in Bangalore, so when I was diagnosed, I was in Bangalore only, and we moved to Coimbatore in 2012. Well, I was still able to walk a bit, holding people, with people support. Slowly, when my condition started deteriorating, when I graduated from walking stick to walker to wheelchair, accessibility became the biggest challenge, and we had to find ways, to make public transport accessible, public places accessible. It was next to impossible to make public transport accessible. So we decided to make our own vehicle. It was expensive. Um, and we didn't have a prototype in India at that time. We were the first ones to do it, think of it, and after we thought, because the amount involved was huge, raising that money, 18 lakhs at that point of time. I'm talking about 2015. It was very difficult for us, and by the time we executed this project, there were other companies in India who had come up with accessible taxis, but not with the kind of infrastructure that we have provided, like bed and toilet and all that stuff. So yeah, all the projects we do at Swaarga Foundation are based on the problems that we have faced as an organization, as an individual, and trying to find a solution for the same. And I can say that Sarathi is the brainchild of my husband. He's an engineer. He's a PhD holder. He's an IIM Calicut passed out, and he's got great ideas, and he came up with this. If we don't have if there is a problem, it's an opportunity to find a solution, is what he said. And he started designing it, and with great effort and time, we came up with this, and this is running very well now. It is booked most of the times, and there's a niche service, it's a premium service, and we charge like auto fare. It's not a profit. It's a not non-profit initiative. We just cover the costs to pay the salary of driver and manage the fuel expenses. Yeah.
Could you also talk to us about some of the other things that you do, making Coimbatore railway station accessible?
Yeah, we have, in terms of making public places accessible, the first thing we took is Coimbatore railway station, where on all platforms we have provided wheelchair-friendly toilets, and we made the elevator functional, which was non-existent from the year 1862 when it was built. So Coimbatore railway station has a footfall of about 50,000 people. So if there is, it's a tier 2 city, and if there is no elevator, you can imagine, and there are 50 steps, okay. So you can imagine the plight of senior citizens and persons with disabilities and pregnant women, how they, with luggage and their paraphernalia, how they travel. It's really difficult. So we got the elevator functional, and at police commissioner's office, we provided a 40 feet ramp, a toilet, wheelchair-friendly toilet, a parking space allocated for persons with disabilities, and we also provided the wheelchair. So the first person to use, initially when we went with the proposal to make the facility wheelchair accessible, it was like, why does place have to be wheelchair accessible? Is the first question. And second thing is, we don't have funds to do all this. That's the general mentality, because disability is anybody's last priority. Okay, so everybody wants to plant trees, everybody wants to support children for education, but nobody wants to support people with disabilities, because there is no clear outcome there. So, but we went ahead, we tried finding sponsors. When we got it done, and very second day of inaugurating this particular facility, the assistant commissioner of police himself was the first person to use it, because he underwent knee replacement surgery, and he used the wheelchair that we provided so he could come to the work. So now, from 1.5 years, there's a person with cerebral palsy who's working as junior assistant at the police commissioner's office. And when we visited the facility last time, they were so thankful. They felt really special. This is how you make people feel special, not by just calling them special. So it has definitely, we have not cured his disease, but we have at least helped him improve his quality of life. So, and we made 10 government schools wheelchair friendly by providing ramps to the classrooms and wheelchair friendly toilets, so that children with disabilities, teachers with disabilities find it easier to come back to school. And these schools are strategically located in Coimbatore, and also centers for public examinations. So it makes more sense that more people use it. Yeah. Okay.
Quite a lot of. I was just going through some of the work, very impressive work, actionable work that we could see across, particularly that people managed to do. I also wanted to call out attention to the fact that the prevalence of multiple sclerosis in India is estimated. Earlier it was they said it's about 2 per 100,000. Now they're admitting it's anywhere between 8 to 10 per 100,000. But while the major hospitals, the large hospitals, do have some centers or places where people can be treated, you don't have. As far as I understand, dedicated centers woefully inadequate, right? So, how do you have any ideas of how we can actually democratize access, particularly because that's a large number? If you're talking of 10 per 100,000, we're talking of quite a large number in India itself. So any thoughts on how you can democratize access? How do we do this at all? Is that something that we're working on?
See, initially we had only 7 types of disabilities. Right now they have made it 21, and multiple sclerosis is also one of them. And there's a lot to do from the government's end, and we know how our government works. So some people like us who are affected with those kind of diseases have to champion the cause. Otherwise, there's no other way. If we don't fight for our rights, then I don't think anything is going to happen. And I also decided not to fight for my right, but to make something, make it actionable. Yeah, so the first step towards it was Saukya Pain Rehab Clinic, where we provided free of cost rehabilitation in terms of physiotherapy, Ayurveda services, and counseling services to all patients. So believe me, we don't charge any money from any patient. So till now, we started this service in November 2018, and till now we have given more than like 8,000 therapies. So yeah, that is one step towards what you said. And our next step is going to be a dedicated neuro rehab center, so which I think should be done this year if everything goes well. So like I was saying, yeah, I can't expect somebody will come and change my life. Some government, some leader, nobody is going to change my life. If I want to change my life, it has to be me. So it has to come from me. And what is the point of having education, skill sets, talent, if you don't use it for the right purpose and you just get into depression as to why I'm made like this, right? So you take action. Okay, you are affected with this disease. See what you can do for the fellow beings, for yourself. Okay, you don't have to go do what exactly I have done. You can at least make your life easier, your family members' life easier by not getting into depression. So there are a lot of things I can speak about, but time is a constraint. So yeah, next question.
Yeah, since you brought the issue of family, you brought the topic of family. So how is the so so the family also has made a huge contribution of this in terms of what you've achieved, and how did the family, how did your family take this, and how did you get to this place where you're obviously, you're able to manage on all of these things, and how did that happen, the transition of acceptance to living with this reality, and then going forward and doing all of these things?
Yeah, see, everybody says this word, this phrase called "we fell in love," right? We also fell in love. We made two children. After I was diagnosed, I had another child, my daughter. She's now 11 years old. My son is going to be 15 now. Um, what can I say? We fell in love and made children. We rose in love and we made Swaarga Foundation. So
That's
together as a couple, Swar comes from my name and
yeah.
Ga comes from my husband Guru Prasad, my son Gagan, and my daughter Gana. So together as a family, Swarga means heaven. We wanted to create a small heaven for the people around us. So this was the ultimate goal, and our slogan is "Life finds a way."
Yeah,
So
life.
we feel that no matter what, life finds a way. Sometimes you don't know whether it's for good or bad. So you might think it's for bad, but it might be somebody else's good also. So together as a family, we have faced a lot. My daughter has never seen me walk. My son and my daughter both are part of everything that we do. My husband and I started Swaarga Foundation in October 2014. We are in the 8th year now, and yeah, together. I mean, we've seen so many ups and downs. It's not an easy journey. But yeah, we are there still together, dealing with the distress and trying to manage, and at the same time trying to make a difference in others' life, and as well as our life. And unfortunately, my father-in-law also was affected with Parkinson's. Both of us came on wheelchair at the same time, and my mother-in-law was affected with diabetic stroke 3 times, and she was in coma for 13 months. So my children were part of the caregiving process, the palliative care process, throughout. So they have, in fact, my son started administering insulin injection to my mother-in-law when he was just 10, because we didn't have people around to do it. So he learned it. So necessity is the mother of invention, you see. So they know everything now. When we do events, my children come, they do photography, they do videography. My son does the editing. They are good bakers. They are also sports persons. Both of them are national level karate champs. So parenting also has been a difficult journey. It's very challenging one, because I get admitted in hospital twice in a year, at least for for 1.5 2 months, 2 months each time, which means 3 to 4 months I'm not available, right? So at that time my husband has really taken care of everything, and he's been a great support. So yeah, we have had challenges, and we have learned to we are still learning how to overcome it. Yeah.
I think Guru Prasad is also on the just the participants here. Would he be okay with sharing anything at all? If that is okay with you, then you.
Guru, you have light in the background.
I
think my lighting is not so good. So,
no, but it's good enough. So yeah. No, I just wanted to, it's the same question to you. I'm sure you heard the question in terms of how the family has managed to not just tide over, but also come to terms with it, tide over it, and also move forward the way you've done. So I asked this one other question, so I thought I ask you as well, because you've not only been part of the journey, but you've also been part of the all that's happened and all that is happening as well. So
yeah, basically, initially accepting itself was a problem. Okay, so like any person, really, accepting it was a really difficult situation which we went through, and then it took us a time to accept it, and also it is taking a time now also to accept certain blocks which are coming here and there. For example, the disease progressing, and we really don't know what is the next situation or the next solution. So acceptance is not easy. We all can tell that, okay, just accept and keep moving. But the reality is, it is quite difficult and quite challenging. It puts a lot of stress and strain into the system. The system means the entire family, the surroundings, everybody. So, yeah, having said that, what we saw is the people who had more pain than us, we saw even those things. So then we were at least, sort of realized that we are much more at a comfortable situation. That's the time when we started, okay, we are a little bit comfortable when compared to the other situation or the other problems or the other challenges which people are having. So with that in mind, we went forward and we did something which we could do beyond what we wanted to do, and only with the willingness of Swarna or the person, whoever is undergoing the pain, that willingness should be there. Whatever, I give a motivation talk or I tell anything, if that willingness or the willpower is not there, then nothing is possible. So the whole credit goes to the person, or to the person who has the willingness to come out of it. There is a family to support, there is everything to do, but the whole thing is inside you, inside the person who is there. So family comes the secondary. The primary is the person who is undergoing the pain should be willing to come out of, be with the pain and handle it. So that's how it is, and I think that's how we all walk through, and we are walking through it now also.
that's very, very nicely put. I think you make a very important point. That's also the reason I asked that question first, about where and how Swarna found the strength within her to do this. I'm going to make one more segue because we are about. So if there are any questions, I would ask the.
Someone raised the hand that time.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake where they lowered it. But if there's a question, it would be ideal if they could actually put it into the chat box so that solves, because typically most people are muted and then you need to unmute them again. So the chat box is a good way to ask you questions. We'll ask the question exactly as you framed it. So we'll do that. I also, so are you a trained singer, or is the singing just a hobby? Because I listened to you singing "Ye Zindagi Gale Lagane." And it's one of my favorite songs as well. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah. So, and you sang it very well in that little video clip that I happened to watch. So did singing happen subsequent to all of this, or was singing always a part of your growing up life?
I don't come from a very privileged or rich family. We come from a very lower middle class family, and we are 4 daughters to our parents. So sending to singing classes and all was next to impossible. So we used to just listen to radio every day, and that was our way of learning. So I just learned songs in Kannada, Hindi, and now a little bit in Tamil. So yeah, I love singing. It keeps me happy. So I just sing for my happiness. That's it.
Right. And how did the beauty pageant? How did that come about?
Yeah. When somebody sits on a wheelchair, everybody looks at them with sympathy. Um, it is obvious that everybody will notice somebody on wheelchair, right? So I decided to add glamour to disability. So when they announced Mrs. Coimbatore Beauty Pageant, I called up the organizers. I said, can I participate? But I'm on wheelchair, because this was meant for able-bodied individuals.
Oh, okay, so it was a normal.
Yeah. They said, why not? So I did participate, and I became one of the finalists and won the title called Mrs. Confidence. And thereafter, I was invited to participate in Mrs. India Beauty Pageant South. And there also a lot of participants were against me participating, because they said she cannot walk, then how can she do a ramp walk? So I said, see, if you are judging somebody's beauty by how they walk, then you should actually keep a marathon or a running race to set the and give the crown to them. You shouldn't have beauty pageants at all. Then I wheeled myself on the ramp with same confidence like them, and I was the first runner-up, and with the popular choice award, like the through the internet, everybody votes, right? So I won I was first there. So yeah, so I wanted to change the perception of beauty just by wearing some fancy clothes, designer clothes, wearing some nice jewelry, and be able to walk, to not have a perfect body. It doesn't make anybody less beautiful than the others. This is what I've always felt. Beauty comes from within the heart, and everybody is beautiful from inside. They can become beautiful by their actions, by their behavior, by their attitude. Beauty, you cannot judge it by your skin color, your height, your hair texture. So I wanted to prove everybody wrong. So that was the whole idea of participating in beauty pageant.
Yeah, but I take all that you're saying. It's all very correct, but it's very easier said than done. The reality is that it requires a complete shift in your mental framework for you to be able to accept that beauty is not skin deep, and it takes quite some change. There's one question that did come up in the chat, which I thought is relevant, because some of the other questions I think we've already covered in terms of accessibility and all of those things. So One of the questions is, how did you manage to raise the amount to make, particularly to make all of these things? What are the challenges, and how did you manage to convince your sponsors to go ahead? Donors, for example.
See, what we did for Sarathi, we definitely raised money through friends and through our relatives. So we were short of money at the end, then we put in personal money. All that we did, and we were able to. It was not an easy task. It was a very uphill task, but it happened because it was meant to happen. That's it. It was not easy. And we have a fundraiser called AM Special Calendar. That's a major fundraiser. And what we do in this calendar is we feature differently abled achievers from across India. Every year we come up with a theme like youth icons, women of substance, adaptive sports, etc. So we sell these calendars and we generate funds for Swaarga Foundation. So we raised funds through this initiative also. And for accessibility projects, what we did was we never took money from anybody. We directly approached the construction firms. You are constructing so many buildings. Why don't you just construct one toilet for us, two ramps for us? It wouldn't be a big deal for you, right? So this is how we tried convincing, and it really worked.
So these are normal construction firms, not CSR funding. These are normal construction.
No. So we just approached them, and they were willing to do it. Okay, one toilet will not, burn their pockets. So that's how we did it.
And there is this question that's come. I really don't know if there is an answer to this, but since it's there in the chat box, I don't know if you see it as well. It's saying, great to hear how you managed to grow and find the strength. Is there anything that you have to say to people who cannot find the strength? I really don't know if it's a question you can answer, but I'm still going to go ahead and ask it.
I think even I don't have an answer.
Yeah, it's a question.
Self-motivation is very difficult, and I'm a born fighter.
Right.
Yeah, my parents thought I would be a boy because I'm the second daughter, right? So if I were a boy, then they wouldn't have two more daughters, right? So I grew up with a lot of lack of love, support, money, everything. So I had to fight for everything that I have today. So I guess I am at a phase in my life where I don't give up on anything. I don't give up on myself anytime. No matter what, I have a lot of patience. I'm not an impulsive person. I will not take impulsive decisions, and I let that phase pass. And when mind is calm, things come, back to, mind becomes little more sane and mind becomes clear. Then you are able to take little more mature decisions. So that's how I have found my strength. Fighting all the time, fighting for myself. I've been through so many problems, from gender discrimination to caste discrimination, sexual abuse, and in fact, you can make a movie out of my story. It's that melodramatic, actually. I've been through so much that nothing matters anymore. It's like, oh, okay, destiny, bring it on. Let me see now. What do you have?
That's probably the reason why you like the Zindagi Gale Laga.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what else can you do but other embrace life as it plays out?
Yeah, every day, even now, I have to see it. Every day when I wake up, I feel okay. This should be my last day. I don't want to leave anymore. I'm tired. I'm really tired, physically, mentally. But do I have a choice? No. The only choice I can make is to get up from the bed and do something useful. Otherwise, my own family will start hating me at some point of time. My children, they're growing up. I want to leave good memories for them. Yeah, so when they think of me, they should always smile. Yeah, that's one of the reasons also. Because somebody is asking, don't you feel that we need more medical research and innovative clinics to prevent born disabilities? See, this scientific thing, I really don't know how far it works. But there is something called karma also, for which you never have answers. Some things have to happen. You don't know why this has to happen to you. But for whatever has happened to you, it has made difference to many lives, So everybody is working out their own karma, right? I'm also working out, and I also believe that karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshvachana. And I also believe in this. Um, what is it called? They say in Bhagavad Gita, no? Do your karma without expecting results. What is it called?
This is the one, right? Where
Same thing, right?
Yeah, this is the one.
Yeah, karmanyevadikaraste ma
Karmanyevadikaraste. That you have the right to work,
So
but
you,
not the
you do your work, and the universe will take care of the results. Yeah, so that's what I believe in.
That's actually a good point to because we're almost at the end of this. So time typically flies. We're 55 minutes into this. So this is it's been a wonderful conversation. I think there's much that I myself have learned, and there's quite a bit that I will take, and I think quite a bit that all the participants also will take from this conversation. What I'll also do is now hand over this session to Swati, who will give our concluding remarks. Thank you.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, here network issues and power issues is there. So I'll keep my video off if you have no problem. Is that okay?
I think we can see and hear you clearly actually, but you can choose to switch off.
Yeah. I'll try. If power goes off, I'll just switch off video. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Last 55 minutes were really eye-opening for us. Swarnalatha ma'am has explained her life's ups and downs, and it's just a lesson for us to learn today and for the rest of our life. Like looking at your smiling face, I can't still believe that you're fighting with multiple sclerosis, and you're really a true inspiration for us, ma'am. You have overcome your disability and showed us what all we can do in our life. We are happy to know that you have made your own foundation called as Swaarga Foundation, which helps the people with multiple sclerosis and other diseases. Wheelchair-friendly ramp story is also a heart-touching story. It has helped so many people. And 1 second. Yeah, it has helped so many people, and we know what others face only when we have that disability. But taking it as first step and helping others along with our development is the greatest achievement. Before this session also, I have seen you as a motivational speaker, and I have watched so many Tedx talks. And what I have observed in your Tedx talks is that you have a wonderful, emotionally attached man, Guru Prasad sir, in your life. He understands you and supports you. You both make a wonderful pair, I should say that. I guess you have completed, yeah, I've seen more videos. I think you have completed more than 200 talks till today.
Yeah, I think it's crossed 270.
Oh, 270. That's a big number actually. Being disabled and not being loved by many family members, as you have said in so many videos from start of your life, you have always opened a new door. That's the reason for your numerous number of hobbies like singing, photography, writing, etc. You have challenged your life when it has challenged you. You are really a great inspiration to all those who want to achieve being disabled. and a lesson for us who ourselves call normal people. You have used very meaningful names like Saukhya, Sarathi, Swaarga Foundation. All the best for your good work you're doing. And thank you for your wonderful, inspirational, interactive session. We enjoyed it a lot. Hope we will meet soon and looking forward for more interactions with you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Swati. I would like to thank Sparsha also. She's been doing an amazing job.
Yeah,
Thank you.
She's been doing it in every single, this is 13, 14 episodes, and she's been doing it.
She deserves a special recognition here.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll conclude by, we will continue to have this on the Thursday. I think next month we'll have it on a Saturday, third Saturday of the month. And we'll continue to have these conversations because the idea of these conversations is to keep these conversations going, because unless you have conversations, you're not going to be bringing these things out into the open, talking about it. I also want to I want to thank you, Swarna, for this wonderful conversation. Also, Guru, for taking sharing your thoughts with us. I think, and all of those who came today participated. And next week, as you can see, next month rather, as you can see, we'll have Pranav Bakshi joining us. And,
Pranav was also featured in one of our calendars.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. So we look forward to having you on that show as well. And,
sure, definitely.
Yeah.
So I would like to end this with a small song that you mentioned.
Right.
You said it's your favorite song, so
right.
Yeah. छोटा सा साया था, आंखों में आया था, हमने दो बूंदों में मन भर लिया, हमको किनारा मिल गया है जिंदगी, ला 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 ला, हमको किनारा मिल गया है जिंदगी, ए जिंदगी गले लगा ले, ए जिंदगी गले लगा ले, हमने भी तेरे हर एक गम को गले से लगाया है ना, ए जिंदगी गले लगा ले. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's a wonderful way to end this, because you certainly have embraced life, as the song says. And therefore, more power to you, and have hope you have a great time. Thank you, everyone.